Present-day Sri Lanka and Ramayana's Lanka not same. Present Sri Lanka cannot be the real Lanka. Among others, he contends that its early historical name in inscriptions and literature was Simhaldwip, and in foreign travelers' accounts Tamrobane. The name Lanka was not known earlier than 1,000 years before present. He questions how, whatever may be the measure of a yojana, an ocean can be taken to be 100 yojana sea. Adam's Bridge and Rameshwaram to its north have also been rejected by him as being the Setu and Shiva temple of Rama's era. It's widely believed that the present-day Sri Lanka is the Lanka described in the Sanskrit epic poem Ramayana attributed to sage Valmiki. Lanka has been mentioned as the island fortress capital of the demon kind Ravana. There are also many articles suggesting that the ancient myths of Ramayana are part of the history of ancient India. Contrary to this common perception, philosopher and scholar Bannanje Govindacharya has put forward a new theory, according to which the Lanka mentioned in the epic is some other place about 200 miles off the coast of India. As I have been going through the original texts of Indian epics, especially the Ramayana, I have across some facts which I am unable to reconcile with geographical locations. In Sundara Kanda of Ramayana, Valmiki states clearly that Hanuman jumped from Mahenra Parvatha. That great monkey Hanuman is shown like an elephant in a lake, standing on the foot of that great mountain by the name of Mahenra, where many elephants of good breed resided, which was beautifully decorated with many naturally formed mineral rocks of varied hue like black, white, red, blue, yellow and green, and which was surrounded by godly serpents and yakshas, canaries, Gandharvas who were capable of assuming desired form, together with their families. Verse 8, Sundara Kanda, Sarga 1. What made come to a conclusion that the present-day Sri Lanka is not the Lanka of the Ramayana? According to Ramayana written by Valmiki, Lanka was 100 yojana away from India. 1 yojana is almost equivalent to 2 miles in distance. But the present-day Lanka is about 20 miles off the Indian coast at its nearest point. There's still a belief, and Ramayana too says, that Asuras demons still populate Lanka with no humans around. And demon king Vibhishana, younger brother of Ravana who was killed by Lord Rama, is its present-day ruler. In the present-day Lanka, we don't see demons or Vibhishana. So it must be somewhere else, hidden from naked human eye about 200 miles off the coast of India. According to Valmiki, it's the length of the floating bridge or Rama Setu constructed by the Vanara monkey army to reach Lanka. Various authors to identify the true location of Lanka including, outside India, Sumatra, the Maldives, Lakshadweep, Ligadweep, 800 miles into the Indian Ocean, Lanka the present Sri Lanka and Australia, and within the boundaries of India, Assam, Reconcile, between the Godavari and Krishna rivers, near Maheshwar, near Jabalpur, Amarkantak and near Pendra in Bilaspur district, MP. The book's author Hiralo Shukla himself suggests the Godavari Delta as the location of Lanka. According to Ramayana, Lanka was located on Mahenra Parvatha close to Dhalagiri, surrounded by the 100 yojana sea, and in an area where sal trees grew, the trees used by both Hanuman and his followers and Ravana and company in the Rama-Ravana battle. The article describes Bagra Hill as close to and a little west of Pakmurhi Hill, district Hoshangabad, Madhya Pradesh. Pakmurhi Hill is identified in the respected reference book castes and tribes of the central provinces as Dhalagiri. The article's author refers to Survey of India Soy Topographical Map 55F14 showing 3 hilltops on Bagra Hill at longitude 78 degrees E. It marks the beginning of a region extending east to Chota, Nagpur and south almost to Bhadrachalam on the Godavari. It also is in a cell area. The author says plausibly that the phrase 100 yojana sea has more than one interpretation, that it was only a general expression to create the impression of large size. In at least one Bhagavatam verse May 16, 2020, 300 yojanas appears to be used in this way. The author, R.L. Gupta, a retired engineer and government secretary, says that for India's geography to match that described in the Ramayana, particularly the existence of the 100 yojana sea, the Ramayana era must have been at that time in the geological past when a lake, large enough to be described by that phrase and abutting the Vindhyan mountain range where it is described in the Ramayana and is accepted by geologists as having existed, in the Narmada Valley. He identifies Lanka as an island in that Narmada Lake, now Bagra Hill. He also re-identifies several other places in the Ramayana by correlating geographical features and present place names. Chitrakuta, Panchvati where Sita was abducted, the Pampawati River, Kishkinda, Mahenra Parvatha, Trikuta Parvata, Rameshwaram, Pampa Lake, Kaishayambuka, Pravarsan, Minaka and Suvla Parvatas, Dawalgiri and the Setu Bridge built by Rama. All in locations in present Madhya Pradesh. Geography described in the Ramayana establishes the antiquity of Rama's era. The Minaka Parvata, which Hanuman used in his leap in geological terms, the Vindhya geosyncline uplifted trough, came up from the sea. In Rama's ancestor Hagchatha's time, Bhagiratha had to work hard to bring the Ganga river to the plains. In his father Dilip's time, it was confined to the mountains. The Ramayana also shows that in Bhagiratha's ancestor Sagar's time the river Sarayu, which at present flows southwards, flowed northwards. These changes and events had their causes in the rise of land masses and the last such land rise of any magnitude in India is reported by the geologists to have been associated with the uplifting of the Himalayas in late Pleistocene to early recent times. The drying up of the Saraswati River is another instance, attributed to the rising up of the Sivalak Himalaya foothills. Regarding the Setu, causeway, the bridge, the topography map of the once Narmada lake bed shows a formation compatible with its having once been a Setu from near the present town of Hosangabad to about the town of Itarsi and to the Bagra Hill, just where the lake is narrowest. The level of this formation is 50 meters higher than those of the neighboring areas. Furthermore, based on borehole drillings, the rock in this formation is different from surrounding rock. It is black basalt, as compared to anything but black basalt for many kilometers on either side. The floating stone, presumably pumice, used by Hanuman and the monkeys has the same origin as black basalt, namely lava flows, and is formed by the solidifying froth on the surface of glassy lava. There is a significant description in Ramayana that the sea started boiling as soon as Rama put an arrow to his bow. This could be due to submarine volcanic activity. Furthermore, there is a place presently known as Bandraban, which the author points out sounds very much like Vanara Band, or the Band Setu built by the Vanaras. The author says that there is no basalt south of Bombay Panaji region except an isolated flow at Rajamundry, AP. According to the Ramayana, Hanuman crossed the Sagar by jumping from Mahenra Parvatha north of Lanka. Lord Chaitanya visited a Mahenra Parvatha after visiting Madurai and before visiting Setu Banda, Dhanastirtha, Ramsvara, the Tamrobane River, Sri Vaikuntham and Kanyakumari all in South India. But Lord Balaram, after finishing his bathing and ritualistic ceremonies at Gangasagra, proceeded toward the mountain known as Mahenra Parvatha. After this he turned towards southern India and visited the banks of the river Godavari, indicating this Mahenra Parvat to be in North India. The author of the article refers to a hill Mahenra shown on government maps today in the Vindhya range in the Ken River Basin at latitude 23 degrees N, 79 degrees E, and suggests, based on the time Lord Rama took to travel between the places he visited, that it is the Mahenra Parvat of the Ramayana north of the Bagra Hill and almost at the edge of the Narmada Lake. Ramayana describes the rising of Minaka Parvata from the Sagar to assist Hanuman in his jump over it. The Vindhyas arose from the ocean over 500 million years ago. The author suggests the likelihood that the rise of the Vindhya trough coincided with Hanuman's jump. The uplifted trough has a break where Hanuman crossed it. Regarding Rameshwaram, the author says there is an ancient Shiva temple in the Betwa River in Madhya Pradesh known as the Bhojpur Temple, a little to the northeast of Bhimbetka and more or less north of Bandraban. This temple, even if rebuilt in Boya's time as claimed by some, could be the place where Rama installed the Shiva Lingam. The Narmada Lake could have at the time extended to this place just as it did to the Mahenra Parvata in Ken Basin. The Vindhya geosyncline's location outside the Narmada Lake's perimeter and the fairly deep alluvium in the vicinity of Bhojpur supports this. Ramayana describes Rama's visit to Sarbanga Rishi's ashram and to Atreya Rishi's ashram, near Chitrakuta. The author refers to Survey of India maps 63D13 and 6316 showing a Sharbang stream and an Atreya Pahar respectively close to Chitrakuta Sadhana. supporting this Chitrakuta as the one which Rama visited, not Chitrakuta Bastar as believed by some. No streams or hills bearing the rishis' names are to be seen in or near the latter Chitrakuta. At the time, Panchvati, on the bank of the Godavari river, was close to Sharang Rishi's ashram, and since there exists a Godavari, known as Gupt Godori, close to the Satana Chitrakuta and none close to the Bastar Chitrakuta, this is also support for the Satana Chitrakuta being the Chitrakuta of the Ramayana. Nasik in Maharashtra, at the source of the Godavari river, is generally believed to be the place where Ravana abducted Sita. But it is too far away from either of the Chitrakutas. According to Ramayana, Rama reached Panchvati from Sarbanga Rishi's ashram with only an overnight halt at Sudarsan Rishi's ashram. Gupt Godori, close to the Satana Chitrakuta, is easily the Panchvati of the Ramayana. Hanuman and other Vaneras formed the southern search party and began their search for Sita from Kishkinda southwards. The belief that Kishkinda is somewhere in the Deccan Plateau is also not in keeping with the geographical descriptions in the Ramayana. Hanuman and his party, while once searching for water to drink, saw some birds coming out of a cave with their feathers wet. At latitude 23 degrees N, 78 degrees E, in Sagar district, there is a place Tinsua where, according to the Sagar district gazetteer, the deity Trisumalbaba is compassionate to thirsty travelers, causing pools of water to appear among the rocks for them, and the author suggests that this Tinsua 3 parrots is the place where Hanuman saw the birds with wet feathers. Present Sri Lanka cannot be the real Lanka. Among others, he contends that its early historical name in inscriptions and literature was Simhaldwip, and in foreign travelers' accounts Tamrobane. The name Lanka was not known earlier than 1,000 years before present. He questions how, whatever may be the measure of a yojana, an ocean can be taken to